Greetings, I am Dr. Peter Resnick, and this is an introduction to the science and art of face reading. Face reading is a body of knowledge that can help you understand other people. It's a great tool for communication. It can help you understand the way people think, why they behave the way they do, the means to satisfy their needs, and most important, a way to help people to understand you. The reason I want you to learn this body of knowledge is because I intend to begin a series of talks that I will post on the YouTube starting from the next Thursday, where I will be talking about people in the news. I will choose one person on the news and talk about this person, reading their face. I will talk about their personality, temperament in great detail. And if you would like to participate, you can actually make a contribution by sending a request. You can go on my website, drpeterreznik.com, drpeterreznik.com, and find my email and send me the name and preferably photograph, clear photo face, and if you can find profile of the person. It doesn't have to be only a person on the news, it can be a person, a historical person that is of interest to many people, and I will gladly talk about that person. Back to face reading. Actually, the name face reading is not the greatest title. It's a recognizable one, that's why I used it. But in truth, it is face, profile, features, body type, body energy reading. So it's a body of knowledge that gives you a comprehensive understanding of a person from just looking for a second, split second, and you know so much. It's hard for you probably to believe right now, but soon you will, because I will introduce this subject to you. So this body of knowledge is widely known and used in Europe. It's known under the name of physiognomy or psychophysiognomy or morphopsychology. And it's taught in medical schools, in nursing schools, and in business schools. It's a little less known in the United States, but it's known under the name morphology, that I believe is very accurate, because morphology simply means, in Greek, morpho means form and logos means meaning. It's a meaning of the form. And since we're interested in the meaning of human form, what we'll be talking about is human morphology. Not that other species are not using morphology. In fact, the very existence, the very life of all species on the planet depends on understanding and knowing morphology. It's not that they think about morphology, they simply use it. That is, it's essential for them to recognize the form and what stands behind that form and to act accordingly. That is, if a lion is hungry, a lioness, she sees an elephant, she recognizes his form, the shape, the body, and recognizes that it doesn't make sense to put up a fight. Or a coyote running with a companion and suddenly sees a rabbit and goes, "Sweetheart, we're having a nice dinner tonight." Why? Because the form of the poor fellow informs the coyote that the rabbit has no chance and he can be used for food. It's only natural that human beings, as they evolved, became more interested in studying not only the form and the meaning behind the form of other species, but also the meaning of the form of their own species, of other human beings. And so the study of morphology began. It's several thousand years old. We don't know precisely how old, but the East Indians developed their own morphology, three body type morphology. They call it Vata, Kapha, Pitta. The Chinese developed their own 5-element morphology, and morphology that I use and practice is Western morphology that originated in Egypt. That is somewhere 3,000 to 4,000 years ago, or perhaps even earlier, because the Sphinx If you know the Egyptian Sphinx, it has the body of a lion, the face of a man, the claws of an eagle, and the tail of an ox. The Sphinx already embodies the 4 temperaments that we will be talking about. So, Egyptians noticed that people who looked particular way, a similar way, exhibited similar behavioral patterns, similar ways of responding to other people, and even responding to different forms of medication. They divided all people in 4 types. We call them nervous, bilious, sanguine, and lymphatic. And they would identify them through the form of their profile. Usually you look at the left profile, because the left is associated with the past, what we come into this world with. So they would look at the bone structure, that is the forehead, the chin, and the corner of the jaw. As you see, these are all solid structures. So the belief of Egyptians was that we come into this world with certain temperament, certain predispositions, and we go through whole life with the same temperament, even though we may change our behavior through will, through training, still those basic tendencies remain inside of us. And it's not only that we have certain temperament going with this particular, one of these particular 4 profiles, but also certain energy system. And if people get ill, and you probably know from experience, some people recover very quickly, some get sick with the same problem, but it takes them a long time to recover. Some people go through an illness on their feet, won't even notice, and so on and so on. So basically, the Egyptians answered the question nurture versus nature by the response nature. We come into this world with all predispositions, with the set temperament. From where, if you believe in genetics, perhaps from your ancestors, if you believe in reincarnation, you come already with certain traits from previous incarnations. But what happened once morphology traveled to Europe, that is, Hebrews learned from Egyptians and brought it to Europe, to Romans and Greeks. What Romans and Greeks noticed was that though these 4 temperaments, and we'll go later in detail about these temperaments, though these 4 temperaments accounted for most human behavior, they did not account for all behavior, and so the study of the faces began. So Romans and Greeks enriched the study of morphology by studying the soft part of our morphology, that is the face. The Greek word for face is persona, or literally it means the mask. And what Greeks and later Romans said was that, yes, our temperaments, that is our profile, accounts for 90% of who we are, but still the nurture, the way we're educated, our relationship with our parents, forms our mask, forms our personality, forms that which we show to the world. It's not who we are deep inside, but it's how we present ourselves to the world. And so they developed a face typology, and there are 12 faces. That is, they realized that all people can be divided in 12 groups, 12 geometrical faces. The rest are just combinations, and it's a little more complex to learn combinations. But basically what we'll be studying here is profiles corresponding with temperaments, which are 4, and then 12 faces, which stand for our personality. We'll do it in the next clip. Part 2, Introduction to the Science and Art of Face Reading.